Hi guys, welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to take a look at 5 different idioms for talking about relationships. That's our topic for today. So our first idiom is bury the hatchet. Okay, this is quite an interesting one actually. So let's take a look at the image as usual. If you don't know what a hatchet is, it's this thing here that's in the ground. This is a hatchet. So we've got the hatchet buried in the soil here, and we've got two people shaking hands. What do you think that could mean? What is this representing? Bury the hatchet. So before we actually take a look at the meaning, we're going to take a look at the etymology of this one, because it's quite an interesting one actually. So the etymology of bury the hatchet, it actually comes from a Native American tradition. So tribes traditionally would bury their weapons or their hatchets as a symbolic act of making peace. So after they were at war, the tribes were fighting. In order to stop the fighting, their leaders would come together and they would bury their weapons in the ground. So this was like a formal agreement to end conflict. And then eventually burying the hatchet became a phrase, started being used more commonly in the English language. So that's where it comes from. So for making peace, which is basically still the meaning today. You bury the hatchet, you make peace with someone, or you stop arguing with someone, you kind of become friends again after you've had an argument with someone. So to use it in a sentence, for an example, the two friends finally buried the hatchet and put their past disagreements behind them. So it's literally a synonym for make peace. Okay, so a mnemonic, we'll continue with this kind of Native American theme because, again, that's where it comes from. So if you kind of imagine a Native American and a cowboy, they're on opposite sides of the battlefield, they're each holding a hatchet, and then they walk towards each other, they dig a hole, and they bury their hatchets in the ground. Okay, so as they cover their hatchets with soil, these flowers start to bloom, okay, and it kind of symbolizes the start of this peaceful relationship. Okay, so you can just kind of imagine that the next time you want to use this idiom, or the next time you see this idiom but you can't quite remember it. Okay, so to bury the hatchet is to make peace with someone. And finally, just a few associations for you to really make those connections. Think about the last time you had an argument with someone. Did you bury the hatchet in the end? Or are you not friends with them anymore? Okay, let me know. Again, if you're using Pear Deck, you can write your answer on Pear Deck now or in the Q&A section or the comments. All right. So that's idiom number 1. Number 2 for relationships is to tie the knot. We've got quite a decent image here for tying the knot. So you've got people at a wedding, bride and a groom, and they've literally tied the knot and they're kind of holding on to this knot. So this does kind of signify exactly what the idiom means, to tie the knot. So before I tell you the meaning, we're going to take a look at the etymology for this one then. So this comes from a Celtic wedding tradition of a hand fasting ceremony. So the ceremony basically is when the couple holds their hands while someone ties their hand together with a ribbon to symbolize unity. Okay, so usually the couple's hands would be like this, and then somebody would be tying their hands together. So they literally tie a knot around their hands to unify them. So the phrase tie the knot literally means to get married. Okay, so tie the knot, get married, super simple. To use it as an example, after dating for 5 years, they finally decided to tie the knot in a beautiful beach ceremony. They finally decided to get married. Okay, let's tie the knot. A few associations for you. So you can picture 2 rings, if you want, like wedding rings, that are intertwined in a knot like this. They're permanently bound together like you would be in marriage, okay? And a little question for you. Have you tied the knot? Are you married? Or do you know anyone who's tied the knot? Let me know if you're using Pear Deck. You can write a response to that, or you can write in the Q&A section. All right, so let's quickly recap the 2 that we've just learnt then, a little quiz for you. So complete the sentence. Despite the challenges they faced, they knew that they were ready to and start their life together. Is it bury the hatchet or tie the knot? Okay, you've got 5 seconds Have a think. Pear Deck users, you can click on the slide now to decide which you think is correct. You've got 5 seconds, off you go. All right, your 5 seconds is up. What do you reckon? The answer is to tie the knot. So despite the challenges they faced, they knew they were ready to get married, to tie the knot, start their life together. All right, moving on to number 3, to smooth things over. Okay, so you've got a couple there, kind of holding hands. They look a bit concerned. Okay, to smooth things over. Smooth things over means when you kind of try to make problems in a relationship a bit less serious or kind of easier to resolve. Okay, so you're trying to make things better. Whatever problems you have, you're trying to help them, really. So to use it in a sentence, the manager held a meeting to smooth things over between the two departments that had been at odds. Okay, you've actually got a second idiom here, to be at odds with someone. Is to be kind of in disagreement with someone, or to kind of be in a bad state in your relationship if you're at odds with someone. All right, so you can use this between two people, physical people, to smooth things over in your relationship, or you can also use it for departments or kind of groups of people as well to, make your relationship better, to try and stop any problems that you have, to smooth things over. All right, little mnemonic for you then to help you to remember. Okay, so we've got a nice smooth road here, and then you've got a lot of holes in the road, bumps and stuff. So imagine a road with lots of bumps and potholes. Potholes are these big holes, making it difficult to travel. Someone comes along with a large roller and smooths out the surface, making the road easy and pleasant to drive on. This process of smoothing the road symbolizes the effort to ease tension and repair relationships. Okay, so again, you've got all these bumps, all these problems, all these arguments, and then you're kind of smoothing them over. Okay, you're making them better. All right, and quickly, some associations. Okay, if you argue with someone, do you try to smooth things over, or do you wait for the other person to smooth things over? What are you like when you argue? Pear Deck users, you can write a response to me now, or you can write a response in the comments or Q&A section. What do you do? Do you smooth things over, or do you wait for someone else? Let me know. All right, moving on to number 3, to give somebody the cold shoulder. Okay, so this image is quite literal. Take a look at the girl's face. She doesn't look very happy, so it's going to be quite a negative idiom, to give someone the cold shoulder. You give someone the cold shoulder, you ignore them. Okay, you literally kind of turn away from them and ignore them. Okay. So, to use it in an example, when she saw her ex-boyfriend at the party, she gave him the cold shoulder, right? She ignored him. Okay, so just imagine someone doing this, giving you the cold shoulder. Don't talk to me, okay? Okay, a little mnemonic again to help you remember the cold shoulder. So imagine a person at quite a lively party, but they're feeling a bit chilly, a bit cold, because everyone is turning their backs on them. Okay, everyone's ignoring them, they're turning away, giving them the cold shoulder. Every time you think of this idiom, picture this person shivering at a party as everyone else enjoys themselves. To shiver is when you're cold and you start to shake. Okay, this is shivering. So if you imagine someone at that party and they're cold because everyone else is just doing this, not speaking to you, not talking to you, they're giving you the cold shoulder. All right. And lastly, some associations again. So think about a time when someone gave you the cold shoulder. What happened? How did it make you feel? Okay. Again, let me know. Give me an answer. Pear Deck users, write on the slide. Or you can write in the Q&A or comments. How did you feel when someone gave you the cold shoulder? Okay. Let me know. All right, next up. To burn bridges. Okay. You might have something similar in your language. I think in a few Romance languages they have something similar like this, to burn bridges. let's take a look at the image here. So you've got a person on one side, person on the other, and this bridge on fire in the middle. What do you think this represents? This was like the relationship. That's what it would represent, the relationship kind of burning, okay? So if you burn bridges, you permanently damage a relationship. So there's no way to go back to how your relationship was before. Just like if you burn a bridge, there's no way to get over to the other side, okay? That's it, the bridge is broken. Your relationship is broken, it's damaged, okay? To use it in a sentence, she didn't want to burn any bridges, so she left her old job on good terms and maintained contact with her colleagues. Okay. So we often use this in a negative way, saying, I don't want to burn bridges, or you shouldn't burn any bridges. We use it often as a warning to someone to say, don't behave like that, walk away, kind of leave the relationship on good terms. Okay. You can use it without the negative and just say, oh, I burnt lots of bridges, but it's often used as a warning more than anything else. All right, so a mnemonic then. I think this idiom is quite self-explanatory and is quite literal as it is, but again, you can kind of imagine a person standing on a bridge, you're connecting two lands. In a moment of anger, that person sets fire to the bridge and they watch it burn and collapse. Okay, so now they can't go back to the land where they came from. Every time you think of burn bridges, you should picture this person regretting that impulsive action as the bridge burns. And this will kind of symbolize that irreversible damage that you've done to your relationship. Okay, so again, you can't go back to your relationship. Your relationship's burned, it's done. Okay. Lastly, some associations. Okay, so again, visualize that bridge. It's engulfed in flames, it's surrounded with flames. Your best friend is stood on the other side of the bridge and you can't get to them. All right, you're done. You can't speak to your best friend anymore. And little question for you, have you burnt any bridges? Let me know. Paired accusers. Write me a sentence. You can write a sentence in the Q&A or the comments. Have you burnt any bridges? If you haven't burnt any bridges, again, you can write a sentence, just practice that idiom there. Okay, so that's it for our idioms for relationships. As usual, under this video, you've got plenty of practice, flashcards, word search, worksheets, story writing. Practice all those idioms there. When you're comfortable, come back and we'll move on to our next topic, which is business and work. All right, I'll see you there.